Well, first of all, thanks to the PyCon9 staff. You are amazing. You are doing an awesome job. And thanks for every one of you to be my audience today. Thanks for that. My name is Felipe. This is my Twitter handle. If you want to speak with me later on. Yes, I can. Thanks. And my name is Felipe, and now I'm telling the tale how I'm using Python to bring democracy to the AI age. So we already know that we live in a flawed democracy, and I want to pinpoint one specific. That is the process of election. So if someone wants to be elected, they need to run a whole campaign, and this need a whole pile of money. And to doing that, if they want to, in a democracy, if they want to support of people, they need to do a nice administration. And to do that, they need a lot of people in different places, like Congress people or inside municipalities, so the whole administration runs smoothly. To do that, they need another huge pile of money. And to take this pile of money, they need to ask corporations about it. And this is a two-hand process, because if you take the money, you give them promises, and then you have corporations running our countries instead of people and nice administrations. So this is the big flaw that I'm looking inside democracy right now. This picture is Brazil process. Since 2013, we are occupying the streets. It's sterile. There's a whole another tale. This image is from the Economist Intelligence, and this is how we have a shrinking democracy. So the colors are a little bit mixed up here, but the whole world, we are having less and less democracy, and this is a bad thing, because if you already have some flawed democracy, if you have a shrinking democracy, you have less and less transparency of data. So if you need to do something about those people that are ruling for corporations, we need to take democracy and need to protect it, the democracy for this kind of thing. So it's very hard to try to track the paper trail of money that go hand by hand of people and try to understand the whole process of it. And it's impossible to auditing a whole country. So even the big 5 auditing companies of the world, I don't know, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I never heard a news about any big auditing company using data science. And like, it's easy to do some data analysis of money, of the whole process. And there is no one using auditing, and it's impossible, like the process of these companies that can audit a large number of things is like the process of man-hour, and they don't have the technology, and they are black boxed, so we don't know if they shake hands with someone and give the process and give the reports, and there's no problem and no corruption happening. So there's a lot of different things that made the auditing a country a huge problem, and it's very difficult to do. And what if we make a robot to clean up everything? If you have a robot to scan all the data, all the process, all the money transfers, everything that we need. So we are Pythonists. We know that we use a lot of web scraping and other stuff to organize data. We have 2 PyData tracks today, so we have a lot of manpower to do that. But there's another hard point. This is from Open Knowledge Foundation. This is an Open Data Index. 1 to 10, Italy is here. It's impossible to read. But the position is 32. And I want to pinpoint one information. I'm from Brazil. We are at the 9th position. And we are the best on government spending data. This small bit here is downloadable at once. So the data is everywhere, hidden sometimes. Another time is 10 gigabit XML hidden. That is impossible to a house computer to open it. But it's the best country that you can find with public spending, so we know where politicians are putting their money, and everything is running. And we needed a start point to understand what we can do with that. The first thing, we think about crowdfunding campaign, and the first question is that I started doing with my friends. So, do you believe that it's possible to fight corruption and using the whole artificial intelligence to fight that? Some people look at me and say, I don't know if I don't believe in you, or if I don't believe it's possible, or if I don't believe in our government to open the data. And for that, at that point, we know that we need to make a concept project, so we start showing the people that it was possible. And the first thing that we have done is to find a politician that was traveling to Vegas and have some beers on public money. That's totally against the law. So, all right, you are a politician, you are already taking money for corporations, and you are getting drunk on our back. So please, and this start a whole movement and start the most successful politics subject on Latin America. And one of the most successful crowdfunding projects that use technology. We throw everything on GitHub. In GitHub is everything open. I will show a little bit more about that. And on Telegram, we start putting people together so we can start talking about anything. So it is a huge group with a lot of people that are not only technicians. So we have already people inside the government, or people that are hackers, or people that are just lawyers that are trying to protect us in this whole process. So the start point is like, let's try a chance and crowdfunding for 3 months. In the later in the process, when we are running out of time and money, some people say, all right, I just covered the project right now, so please, I want to throw money on you, I want to keep doing that. And we have a recurrent crowdfunding campaign right now that keeps us doing that. And what we are doing artificial intelligence for social control of public administration. It's happening, it's true. We started in 2016. We are using machine learning, data science, artificial intelligence on politicians, and this is civic tech. I don't know if you are used to the civic tech concept, but if we are smart citizens, we can try to create tools to correct our government and fight corruption on our way. Like, it's public, it's on GitHub, is the most started project on Brazil. The number here of the Telegram group is 733 people. We are not active as Django Italia, that's people talking every day. But this group have a lot of people always working how to understand how we can fight corruption better using technology. I put data analysis in the point by hand because sometimes we need just run a Jupyter notebook and put everything that we need, and we run our investigations, and we using Medium. We put the whole investigation online for everyone to see with whole data infographics. Like, we are running parallel like an investigation news, something like that. And also running a lot of repositories that I want to show you right now. So at GitHub, we have Serenata de Amor, Toolbox, and Whistleblower. Serenata de Amor, well, you're already curious. Why Serenata de Amor? Italiano is the same in Portuguese. Serenata de Amor is a tofu. It's like a candy, a bonbon. And we are based in 3 things. One thing, you ever heard about Caso Toblerone? Toblerone case? Yeah. So in Sweden, one politician just have to quit because they find out that they are using the public car, public money to buy a Toblerone. So this kind of specific accountability that we want to achieve. And as they, here in Italy, Mani Limpi, Clean Hands in the 90s, the whole Carabinieri or the federal police in Brazil, they have nice names for doing that. So Operação Serenata de Amor, Serenata de Amor operations, like, ha, you are doing the same thing, we are fighting corruption. And, well, this is also our Serenata de Amor, our love serenade to the whole people and Brazil. And what we got inside Serenata de Amor, we got Jarbas. Jarbas is like, as a joke, is like Alfred in Portuguese, like, Alfred, give me some information. Because, well, I tell the tale about that huge file, 2 million receipts in XML, gigabits, and it's impossible to see that. So we create Jarbas. There's one Elm dashboard, so you can see everything. We put Google Maps visualization, so you can see the neighborhood. You can see, we put comparison of what the politician spent that day with the same type of spending. And Rosie, the robot, Rosie runs suspicions and this intelligence inside because they crunch all the data like companies, composition of the names of the companies. So if a politician is a friend of someone that someone that owns an enterprise and receive a lot of money, we can try to start understanding those kind of relations. And we are working with 6 suspicions right now. Meal price outlier is like, all right, we can have a meal for 20, 30 euro, 50 euro maybe, and that the outlier like 200 euro or like, yeah, 250 euro for the politician who eat a whole goat. And the law is specific that you can spend money for your own meal. So what are you doing with a whole goat? So obviously he's doing some favor or for his own family or his friends or for someone who visit his office and he wants to be nice with them. So we track that. Over monthly subquota limit, like they can spend money on meal, renting airplanes, taxi. We have the capital, they need to move, so office outside or inside the capital or for their hometown. So every kind of spending or subquota, they have their own limit, and sometimes they go out, go in. Suspicious travel speed day. You know, Brazil is huge, and so I do a Europe comparison. If someone in Rome take a breakfast, travel to Stockholm, and then have another spending in Portugal, like, dude, it's impossible to do that. So you are presenting receipts from other people that's spending, or your family, or your son that was there, and you, all right, let's put public money on that. So we track also that. Invalid company numbers or personal numbers. Election expenses is if you are prohibited to use the quota to print or to do anything around marketing close to elections. So they are not using public money to run their own campaigns. So, dude, do your work. And irregular companies classifier, it has a lot of companies, like it's very specific on Brazil laws. That some companies are prohibited to work with government anymore because they are corrupted. And so, all right, you're not supposed to work with the government anymore, but they still work and receive money for our politicians. So we need another classifier for that. This is the human name, so just an example that we are translating and try to put everything to the public. So this is system inside the government that we need to scrape or download whole data sets and put to people. So, all right, now you have this kind of information too. This is Jarbas. So it's impossible to see that before our work. So the receipt, this is a Django whole framework is admin. Is admin.py, the file. So it's like a visualization of the whole data set. This icon sends you to the Elm dashboard with the whole connections with Google Maps and other stuff. And this here is if I suspect or not. So this dashboard is already used by some investigator journalists, so they can start their own investigation using that platform. So you have suspicions, so all right, go through that and check if it's real or not. Every suspicion can be a false positive or not, and you are afraid to be prosecuted by our own government, open fair own data. So we are very careful about the terms that we use in public. The second is Serenata Toolbox. Well, we try to follow don't repeat yourself principles and stuff like that. So this is a pipe package that downloads the whole data set of companies, that are like 6,000 companies that receive public money, the 2 million receipts and 20,000 new every month, and almost 600 congresspersons that are in there. Connections, names, there's a huge myriad of data sets that Toolbox create a unique space. So all the repositories right now and future repositories will use this package to understand that and distribute and also put it in pipeline. As I told you before, like XML with 10 giga, like, and we transform in a 6 megabytes file. So it's nice. And the last one is Whistleblower. It's a basic Twitter bot, but there's a whole tale about that. First, we try to have a conversation with the minor house in Brazil. Like we put almost 1,000 suspicions on their hands. All right, I want to hear more about that. This is the law of the habeas data. You know, I need more information on that. So the rule in Brazil, you have a month to give explanation about that. And we put like 1,000 in one time, like 1,000 governments. Tell me more about that. Tell me about the shit you are doing. And they start replying, and then they made a bulk reply that is like, it's impossible to reply to you, and I'm gonna put the responsibility on the congressperson itself, so we need to talk to them. So if you need to send an email straight to the congressperson, they never gonna reply to us in a particular channel. So we start putting on the web. And on the web, like, it's impossible to read, but we have a suspicion on this congressperson. You can help me to check. Always we are careful about our language. And there's a lot of people talking, oh, you're shitting motherfucker. So there's a lot of people like making a mess online, and a lot of congresspersons start putting like, sorry, I did wrong. This is the proof that I give money back to our government. So we tried the formal channel, and when they block us, we go through. A little bit of the README, just to check. you are using GitHub, but GitHub is a great tool for technicians. They can help democracy as the whole Git system, but we are trying to put everyone in the same page here. So there's a no tech crash course, there's a tech crash course, obvious. There's the whole documentation, so we can work together. How we supporting, because you are practically using a crowdfunding system, and a lot people that support us, like DigitalOcean, that give us the servers. So everything is on Docker. Everything is like state-of-art technology, like Elm and everything else. A little bit more about that soon. Contribute guiding is perfect, so you can like just follow through and go install and gonna run. There's small pieces of data sets, so you can try your installation. So you just take care of that too. So, all right, you wanna try to see how everything works and how everything is connected. Run with these small pieces of data sets so you can check the whole systems. Issues. Issues from Hacktoberfest. Issues that we are open if we're trying to understand something, or if we're just ask like, all right, I'm from Italy and I want to understand how it's possible to try to create a chapter here of this whole project. Or in Germany, already in talk with Open Knowledge Germany also. So that's the main channel that we can ask new stuff for the whole project. GitHub is common ground for us, right? Great. And for 3 months ago, we joined as the Civic Innovation Branch, Open Knowledge. You already know Open Knowledge. Open Knowledge is behind every opening date of governments. There's the OGP, the Open Government Partnership. They run the open index all around the world. They help governments to check, understand, and apply open data process. And now we are with them, and this is giving a lot of leverage. And we started 3 new projects. Gazette is like the official Gazette, like every official information run through a Gazette in a municipality level or a federal level. And in Brazil, there's more than 5,000 municipalities, and every official Gazette is a little bit diverse. So we start scraping one city, and suddenly in less than 2 weeks, there are more 6 cities that the whole community starts developing. We are on depth with them because we proposed to create a whole training how to create a scraping for your own city, so you can follow through and put in there. And with some different people in every municipality, there's a little change on information. So we are planning to run a whole natural process language algorithm inside of to understand every idiosyncrasy on that. So licitation is a terrible thing, like because they are like, well, below 8,000, we are not supposed to give you any explanation. So common cables like, dude, 200 euro for 5 cables like that? Like it's stuff like that we are finding out. They are planning in plain sight, and because it's like a huge amount of data, it's impossible to a human being or organization of humans to do that. Power measurement. You ever heard about Watchdogs from Aaron Swartz, 2008? It's that project. Imagine putting everything that you know about the government in one place. Like he was in the US, was lobby, calendar of politician name, politician relations, public spending, putting everything in one specific ground and try to understand the connections and try to measure their power, their influence, their relations, what we're looking for. I think here it is kind of safe to say, what if we, like Cambridge Analytica, the politicians, creating profile of them, try to profile them, try to identify them, using that like smart cities and not smart cities, like it's us. And municipalities, we are doing this whole thing in the auditing level, in the federal level, but we are now drilling in municipalities, like will be a lot of work on that. So the auditing level in municipalities, measuring power and try to profile every politician and their relations and try to understand the natural language on official documentations about everything. And to almost close, this was Marielle. Marielle was a rising star in Brazil politics. She was breaking records on votes. She was a human rights fighter, and she was brutally murdered. The cameras of the city shows that she was tailed for 5 kilometers. The car was with tinted black and 9 shots in the head through the column of the car. So it's like everything points to like specific crime for very professional people. People around it never heard a shot but saw some silencer on the top of the gun. Because 2 weeks before that, she was the Human Rights Watch on the new politics of Brazil to put in the army inside of the favelas. So she's trying to help people to be treated as people, because Brazil is a shrinking democracy right now, like army on streets, like trying to put poverty as a crime. And she'll be greatly missed. And also like her, we are trying to do something nice. We are a little bit afraid. I'm living in Italy right now. The main developer will move to Berlin in 2 months. And another one will be moving to Toronto. So we can keep doing this online, thanks God. But for her and for the whole process and democracy, we need to keep doing that. And this is an invite for all of you that can use Python, that you can that have some love for the process of equality, democracy, human rights, to join us somehow. There's my Twitter handle, there's the GitHub project and everything. So I want to say thank you again to PyCon staff to be awesome with me, and the opportunity, DigitalOcean, to support open knowledge, to keep us on their arm, and for you to be my audience today. Thanks.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. It was it did live up to the expectation. So let's start with the question.
Yeah, so thank you, like super special thank you. I am from Poland, so this is very, very important topic right now, even in my country. I live in London for a couple of years, but I think that we have a lot of in common about the democracy stuff and everything, and I will be like very interested to speak with you about like from Polish side, and yeah, so just to let you know that thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you. Any other? Okay.
Hi, and thank you for all your work. Congrats, because it's a great, great work, in my opinion. I'm enthusiastic about what you're doing, what you're discovering. And I have two questions, and maybe more than a question, your opinion and about web technology and politics in a more general way. It's a theme that in Italy it's really of actuality. I don't know if actuality is an English correct term, but you know what I
Parla
mean?
italiano, perché
Okay.
sto qui.
No,
Dai.
and I wanna know what you think about the future of democracy linked to the web, linked to the theme of, or maybe fake news, and there's a link with the question. And are you doing something about blogging on data journalism? Because I think that data journalism is a very important theme, because it's true that if you talk on data long enough, they will talk. But I think that it's important to link data to news, because I'm a data scientist, and I think that the power of data is too much important to don't link to not link it with politics, with democracy, and with the decision power.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of information on your question. About fake news, I didn't put on the presentation. We have a small project to fight fake news. It's hard to say fight fake news, because fake news happening around the world. It used to be propaganda, right? So it's everywhere. It's the meme culture have something of it. So it's like, let's joke about information. Yeah, but we are running a project with a news agency inside Brazil to try, because we have election this year, and man, it will be a mess. So you are doing that, and we also we are educating ourselves in data journalism, since we are running our own investigations and try to deliver data analysis with full text information and digest to the public. So it's freaking important. And democracy and web, dude, is flawed. The representative process is like it's this friction thing. So running this kind of thing and say, all right, you are dirty and using money that you are not supposed to use. If you show that the voters, maybe they can start a movement that politicians losing support of their voters, so taking money for corporations is not a thing anymore. So it's freaking hard to a new challenger come to the politics and start like, I'm not dirt my hands. Like, I try to not keep, man, you could be dwarfed. So the campaigns with the corporation money, like, but if they lose support of the voters because of the transparency that we can channel, like, maybe you can do something. Did I reply? Did I miss something?
Okay. Another question? Nobody? Okay, I have a question. And it's, you're using a weapon of politicians, of democracy, which is transparency, against themselves. But this law was made by them, by the government, right? Aren't you afraid that maybe it's too early in time to use it against them? Like, not everybody has full transparency, as you showed us. Maybe other states are going to be scared to do that, because they did that in Brazil, and if we do the same, it's going to happen the same to us.
Yes,
so
yes.
Aren't you afraid about this?
A little bit, since the second slide was shrinking democracy, and this is a personal fear. There's a lot of international movement to democracy. Like, if you're not democratic enough, I'm gonna put economic sanctions on you. So I'm gonna force you to be democratic and transparent. So I hope this UN thing, NATO thing works on that way. In São Paulo, the city with 20 million people, the mayor, the last act of him is like to put the Gazette inside of a subsystem that is very hard to a common person to check the information. Okay. Why this motherfucker do that? Like, yes, trying to hide something that is not supposed to run freely. So it's our job again to take out of the smoke screen that he created and put to everyone. I don't know why Brazil created this law. This law is wide, is like an example for the whole world, and says, basically, everything that's not tagged as a secret of state has to be opened. If someone asks something, the information must be given in 15 days, plus 15 days if needed. So it can be a piece of paper, like a handkerchief, like, take information, go away. But you have that. You have the official information. I don't know what's the process happened in Brazil. Brazil have 13 years of leftist government, okay. And this law happened during this government. So I don't know if it is a leftist effort. I don't investigate it why this kind of law happened in Brazil, but it's nice that happening and is an example of the whole world.
And you're not afraid that it's going to disappear exactly because it's being used against them?
I hope not, because Brazil right now is a shrinking democracy, is more authoritarian, trying to make poverty as a crime. But they need international money, as everyone. And every authoritarian government always try to befriend outside. Inside can be a mess, but outside you need to be polite and say, all right, I'm doing the right thing and what you're telling to me to do. So I hope that this international pressure will keep Brazil on track.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Okay, I think that's it. Thank you.